Hello, dear listeners. My name is Kishore Ganesh, and in the third episode of the Vocal About Visuals podcast, I wanted to talk about an anime movie, in fact, and a Detective Conan movie in particular called The Darkest Nightmare. The Darkest Nightmare is the 20th movie from the Detective Conan stable, and to the listeners, it might seem odd as to why I didn't start from movie 1. Well, I could have, and I think I will at some point in the future, but this movie struck a chord in me somewhere, and among the 3 or so Conan movies I had been watching as part of a binge, this hit me the hardest. So, with that, let's head into the movie. Let me begin with some background to the Detective Conan universe. The origin of the character, Edogawa Conan, the Meitante, meaning the Great Detective in Japanese, is explained at the beginning of every movie, and they do it extremely well. So I implore you guys to check it out there. If you want to delve deeper into this universe, be sure to check out detectiveconanworld.com, which is a wiki site containing all the character info in terrific detail. That said, let me throw some light on the major characters who appear in this movie and are regulars of this universe. Edogawa Conan, who is currently 7 years old, was originally a 17-year-old high school student named Kudo Shinichi, who, owing to an event, got turned into a kid. No, there is no magic involved here. This show is very much set up in a very realistic, scientific, and action packed universe. Just that I don't want to spoil what the event was that made him go through this transformation. However, this event is part of the origin story that appears at the beginning of every movie, so you don't have to wait too long to know what the actual event was. Now, coming back to how the universe is set up. Conan, post the event, is living with an ex-police officer turned private eye named Mori Kogoro and his 17-year-old daughter named Mori Ran. His best friends / gang are 2 boys, Genta and Mitsuhiko, and 2 girls, Ayumi and Haibara. Conan, in his teenage form, is in love with Mori Ran. And there is a reason why I'm using is as opposed to was. So, even this will be revealed when you watch the film. Another important character is Professor Agasa, who is sheltering Haibara at the moment. There are a huge bunch of recurring characters, apart from the main characters that I mentioned above, like the officers from the Metropolitan Police Department, Ran's friends, other high school detectives, FBI officers, and badass secret agents from a number of different secret agencies. And then we have Conan's nemesis, who are an evil organization called the Black Organization, who are constituted by a bunch of really cool evil characters. Right, now that is something of an intro to the universe of Detective Conan. Bottom line, this is a vast and rich universe which has been built for about 25 years, and it continues to get built even to this day. Yes, this show that started in 1996 is still going strong. There are 960 plus episodes and more to come, and there are 23 movies as of 2019, and the movie that was supposed to be released in April of 2020 got pushed to this year thanks to COVID. Phew, that was quite a big intro. In the next segment, we'll delve into the movie. The movie is very much an anime Mission Impossible. Only difference is that the person who's stealing the data is actually the bad guy, or in this case, Gal, and the Gal is from the Black Organization. Her code name, like all the other members of the org, is also alcohol based. She is called Curacao. Now, Curacao has something called color grapheme synesthesia, wherein the person associates colors with numbers or letters. Someone with this condition will, for example, associate the color red with the number 9 or the color blue with the letter K. In the movie, The data that Kurosawa steals is a knock list or a non official cover list of government spies who have entrenched themselves in her evil organization. In order to help her remember the names of the list, she uses different colored paper, one color per name. It so happens that she is found out by one of the good guys or good spies and thus begins a chase. Long story short, during the course of the chase, she crashes a car and happens to be exposed to a ton of bright light, which makes her forget the knock list. In addition to this, she also develops amnesia thanks to the car crash. And that's how the prologue of the movie ends and the main movie begins. Exciting, isn't it? Despite appearing for the first time in this movie, Kurosawa quickly became one of my most favorite characters of this universe. She is extremely strong, can kick some serious ass, is very intelligent, and such a powerful character is rendered helpless and vulnerable by the circumstance she finds herself in. And it is this contrast that I found to be extremely endearing. In her vulnerable state, she is saved not by the wits of the protagonist but by the love of some innocent children. Her character arc of evil to good is enabled not by strength, violence, or power but by innocence, love, and friendship. It is almost as if a big scary dragon that has been hunted and also has been hunting all its life is suddenly shown love and that changes its heart. There are, of course, people, both good and bad, trying to reclaim the dragon, aka Kurosawa. But where our man, Edogawa Conan, shines is that he protects her from both sides. He provides her a safe environment where someone who has not experienced love ever is changed forever, thereby proving once and for all that love triumphs all. For a character that is supposed to be inspired by the cold intellectuality of Sherlock Holmes, Detective Conan also places a lot of importance on emotions. He is not a high functioning sociopath, as Mr. Holmes calls himself in Sherlock, but rather a high school detective with friends, a lover, and loving but absent parents. Conan then, I think, understands how important a support system is and clearly appreciates the benefits of such a system. And this is an aspect that plays into him allowing a member of the black organization, his sworn nemesis, so close to his own family unit. Apart from these two major characters, the supporting characters are all extremely well written. The endearing innocence of the detective boys, the cool badassery of Bourbon and Akai Shuichi, the ruthlessness of the black organization, the clumsiness of Kogoro and Agasa, all leave a mark on you and make the movie even more enjoyable and memorable. This film has elements of a spy movie, a mystery movie, and an action movie with comedic and heart touching moments dispersed throughout. Speaking of action, I have to call out the highly imaginative action set pieces that the writers and the animators come up with for these annual movie events. Because it is an animation, yes, physics doesn't exist here. And yet, the writers seem to ground the action set pieces within the realms of possibility, even if it is an extremely slim possibility. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that the action set pieces in this movie are not even close to being as ludicrous as the ones you will see in the Fast and Furious franchise. On the whole, whether you are a fan of the Detective Conan universe or are a fan of anime but are yet to try this series out, or are a movie buff wanting to try a different kind of movie, or are a mystery buff that will consume all things mysterious, or finally, if you are just someone who wants to give art from another culture a shot, this movie may just work for you. One tiny thought that I would like to share before I bring this podcast to a close is that I would encourage you guys to watch anime with original Japanese audio along with English subtitles, through which I reckon one can appreciate the art at a deeper level and get acquainted with the culture as well. Once again, my name is Kishore Ganesh, and thank you for listening.